you can't touch light industrial right now for under like $16, $17 triple net. And,
Yep.
it's crazy. I can't believe it. But if that's a good sign for how, how our economy is going to recover from this, it's a happy thing. So I see we have two more who joined. Hi, Deb, and hi, Kathy. How are you all doing today?
Hey, Stephen, doing well. Sorry for the off camera, having some technical glitch issues, so apologies.
No worries. It's part of the Zoom year. Speaking on mute, I think I've spoken more on mute the past year than anything.
That's my favorite place.
I always tell everyone, like, I said the most brilliant things on mute. Or I say something on mute and I'm like, I can't go back and repeat exactly what I said when I take myself off mute. And I'm like, damn, I want to make that point. But Stephen, do you want to give it a couple more minutes, or should we begin?
I think you could probably kick it off. I know there's a couple more people that'll probably join in a couple minutes, but if you wanted to get started, feel free.
Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Deb, good to see you. It's been a while.
All right.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for joining us today. My name is Steve Garbel, so I'm one of the board members at the New Jersey Chamber, and I'm in charge of our supplier diversity and policy piece. So I do a lot of work on that, but I wear another hat. I sit on the certification committee down at the NGLCC. So when you guys get certified, I'm one of the team that looks through the applications and gets everything out there. So, there's just such great opportunity with certification. And, we were discussing getting a group together, and our goal of today is to really be a think tank. So one, kind of identifying, how long you've all been certified, what your needs are for the certification, how we can better, whether it put together connections or content, just so that we can help y'all really leverage your certifications. It is such a huge opportunity in the market right now with being a certified business owner. And I think that, the more we can show how amazing our LGBT entrepreneurs are, just the more opportunities we're going to have. New York City recently announced that the NGLCC certification is going to fast track you into the city's MWBE, EBE, or LBE programs. And we're hoping to see that same thing happen with the state of New Jersey this year. NGLCC has been lobbying and working on that. So there's just so much opportunity. And if you think about it, we're in New Jersey, but we've got two states on either side of the border, and two of those cities, Philadelphia and New York City, or Pennsylvania and New York City, take the LGBT certification. So let's find out what we can do and really help you guys, grow your businesses through using your certification. So I wanted to start off today by just doing a round robin of introductions. If you could just, introduce yourselves, your company, what you do, and if you are certified, how long you've been certification, and if you own any other certifications, because I think that's always an interesting thing to see. And Jessica, since you were in the room first, I'm going to start off with you, and because you're directly to my right also.
All right, no pressure. So my name is Jessica Gonzalez. I am the founder and CEO of In Charged, Vendex, and Lux Disinfect. Prior to COVID, we had a successful event technology company where we build brandable cell phone charging kiosks and experiential vending machines for trade shows, events, brands, all of that. COVID hit, destroyed our business, brought us down to zero. So we did a pivot and created Lux Disinfect, which is a disinfection technology company where we've retrofitted our vending machines to be touchless PPE vending machines. We do UVC disinfection boxes, UVC kiosks, UVC air purification systems. I'm also sitting on the New Jersey Restart Recovery Commission board with the governor and a bunch of other stuff that I'm involved in. I just got certified like 2 weeks ago or something like that. So I'm new to the organization, and other certifications I hold, women minority owned, working on 8A. And there's a few other ones that I started, New Jersey Chamber, bunch of other ones that that I'm trying to be part of.
Awesome. Yeah, and you know what? Leveraging every certification that your business can obtain, it's such a great thing to do. It's a resume builder. And when contracts go out there, you never know what's written in that RFP, what type of vendor they're looking for. So, you know, I do like that, and I think that's a great thing. And congratulations on certification and the pivoting. I'm going to go next to. I'm just going to move around my Zoom, my Brady Bunch screen, and Lori is next.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lori Seliger. I'm past president of the chamber. I joined this think tank today because when I was in business, I've actually been out of business about 1.5 years. I was dual certified. I was LGBT certified and women certified. We had a translations company. And I thought I might be able to provide some wisdom for you folks. Jennifer, I didn't hear that you were trying to do a WeBank certification, but
I am.
oh, good. Okay. My experience, at least in the translation world, was that there were a whole lot of women-owned translation companies, but there weren't that many LGBT companies. And so I ended up trying to pursue that side of things more than the women-owned side of things, although we did network on both, with both certifications. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here and nice to meet you all, and hopefully you enjoy the discussion today.
Thank you. Yeah, those the WeBank certification is kind of how the NGLCC certification came to be. We followed the same process. So if you do own one of those certifications, you get fast tracked through the other. So
Yes.
it's a great thing to make sure you get both.
Yes.
Then I'm just going to continue around the Brady Bunch screen. So Kathy Clark is next.
Hi, everybody. Again, I apologize. I'm not on camera due to technical issues. So my company is Sage Rock Advisors. We are a trade show management, exhibit management company. Jessica, I definitely would like to connect with you after this. We work primarily within the life sciences industry, and we had to pivot pretty significantly, as you did with COVID. Fortunately, I'd like to say my team are, excuse me, virtual virtuosos at this point. So we can pretty much handle every type of virtual event out there for our clients. We are obviously LGBT, we're WeBank as well as veteran-owned business. And we've been LGBT for about 2 years, WeBank for about 2 years, and we just got our veteran-owned on December of 2020. So it's wonderful to be here with everybody. And I'm really interested to see where this think tank goes, because we don't do a ton of business beyond the life sciences, but I do want to start to see where that can lead external to that arena. So nice to see everybody.
And the NGLCC has a great veterans group too. So we can send you over some more information on that too. So there's all LGBT certified veterans that kind of help network together and do something just for your specific sector.
Would definitely love that. Thanks, Stephen.
Awesome. So thank you. And we're going to move over to Deborah Morrison.
I am a former fiduciary financial advisor and asset manager. I sold my business last September and morphed into financial coaching for women. And my company is Women Navigating Finances. And I've been LGBT certified, I think 2 years. We were attempting to get the women owned when I was owner of Empowered Retirement and ran into some snags. So I'm not women owned certified yet. Yet I will endeavor to get that.
Congratulations. That's an amazing spot to be in too. I work in financial services during the day also, but you know, I think it's a really important place to be. And you know, as you're looking, you know, we have some great opportunities to present programming. So if you ever have anything you'd like to do around maybe some financial planning for our female counterparts, let us know. It might be a great space for you to be in.
Yeah, I think thank you, Stephen. I think it would be, I think I'm targeting 3 markets in particular, widowed folk, and because I'm also a certified grief coach. And I wrote a book called My Husband Died, Now What? A Widow's Guide to Grief Recovery and Smart Financial Decisions. It's literally half grief coaching and half financial planning, if you will, advice, if you will, recommendations. And I seriesed it. I will series it. I was going to do My Wife Died Now What, but I was told no men, particularly heterosexual men, read books. So then I would do My Partner Died Now What. And so, we'll be able to translate this through a whole bunch of different applications. And so I'm looking forward to doing that, especially the LGBT one. My partner died. I mean, I think that's valuable.
That sounds great. There's such a hole in the market for great advice, and I think that's a nice spot to be.
Oh,
Well,
sorry. So widowed and LGBT, because like two women earning whatever we're earning, 61 cents or 70 cents, 0.23, whatever we're earning, it's two of those versus gay men coming into the table with dollar on dollar. So yeah, for sure, widowed, LGBT, lesbian, and then C-suite executives. I want to do one-on-one coaching with them. So we have a Facebook group, Women Navigating Finances, and we do some webinars and so forth and so on. So that's my stick.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. And I'm going to move through my Brady Bunch square over to Mark.
Good afternoon, everybody. And like Kathy, I will be off screen at some point because my first grader is going to make me make her lunch at some point. So she is my boss. So at the fourth quarter last year, I launched my own executive coaching and consulting business called Breakthrough Consulting Group. My target market tend to be lawyers and financial services folks, people who are, and also management consultants, people who are in partnerships, because leadership looks different when everybody is supposed to be the smartest person in the room, right? So that is my shtick. I am not certified yet. My company is very new. So I'm here really as a sponge to hear what's going on and see how I might be able to participate.
Awesome. Well, and we can help you navigate the certification process also. So if, that's something we could talk about later on in our call. And thanks for joining us. So we're going to move over to Amy Scott.
Sorry, had to unmute. I am Amy. I own a video production company called Modat Video Productions. We are now WeBank member. We're WeBank certified. We're WOSB. We're LGBTQ. My wife and I own the company. We specialize in all types of video. We've done major TV shows for networks, and we've done training videos for health, National Institute of Health and smaller businesses as well. And we do a lot of branded content and fundraising videos as well. That was a large portion of our business when COVID hit. And that kind of hit the skids because nobody was doing fundraising events anymore. We couldn't bring crowds into rooms. So our business kind of hit the skids. We are also, what sets us apart is we also trained media coaches and on-camera training. So we've trained everyone from celebrities to CEOs to admirals of the Coast Guard. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Very nice. Media training and video training, especially nowadays, is so important. I taught a class at Columbia a couple of weeks ago, and the person that ran the program did a whole segment for the business owners on how to present yourself on camera, how to be on Zoom and brand your video and brand yourself and maximize it. So I think that's
like not having your messy kitchen behind you. I
know
what I preach.
A blank wall. If I can't be somewhere, I got to find a blank wall. But well, thank you for joining us today. We're going to move on over to Stephanie.
Hi guys, my name is Stephanie Locker. I own Locker B & Co. We're a multidisciplinary consulting firm. We're small, women, disability, and LGBT certified. And a huge focus post-COVID has been on cost optimization. So our average client is a portfolio company, a private equity firm, or Fortune 500.
Very nice. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Move on over to Joe.
Hey everybody, I'm Joe Renga. Unusual to see me on screen, and this is the reason why, because I'm always a mess. But I'm on here because I'm a board member, and I wanted to listen to LGBT-owned business owners because I'm thinking of starting a business because I am starting to work with government accounts. And since the thing came out in New York City, that interests me greatly because Verizon is asking me and my business partner to go into government accounts and help enhance them and upgrade them and make them closer to Verizon. So it could be very helpful for me. So I just want to hear what people have to think and say. And so I'm here to observe.
Very nice. Thank you for joining us today. And last but not least, Mr. Stephen.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stephen Bliesjewski. I'm the Vice President of Corporate Relations for the Chamber. I'm here today because I helped Steve kind of set up all this up, and I'm doing the tech behind the scenes. So I'm glad to see all of you. I know most of you pretty well because I did a couple of your site visits. So it's great to see all familiar faces here, and looking forward to hearing what comes out of the meeting today.
Perfect. Well, thank you. And as I said, I know a couple of people joined. My name is Steve Garbel. I'm our VP of Policy and Supplier Diversity here at the Chamber, but I also sit on the NGLCC Certification Committee. So I understand the journey of the certified business, and I run our LGBT business development group for TD Bank. So I work with a lot of LGBT certified suppliers, helping them manage their cash flows and manage their day-to-days. And our goal of today is to really make an open conversation. And inside the Chamber, we have businesses that are certified, businesses that are not. We have corporate partners and individuals who work at companies. So we wanted to make a little committee and group of our certified businesses. What do we have, about 30 certified businesses, Stephen?
Yes, I'm sorry I'm off screen because I'm eating and no one wants to see that.
So about a third of our businesses are certified, which is a great a great spot for us to be in. And there's so much opportunity to get more and more certified. But the goal of today is to learn a little bit about some of the things that you're looking to get from your certifications, the types of businesses you want to get in contact with. One of the best things that we can do as a chamber is be that connector and that bridge for you to meet corporate partners and for you to meet, just because they're not a corporate partner of the New Jersey LGBT Chamber doesn't mean that they're not a corporate partner of National, and we can leverage that relationship to help get people there also. And, identify some things that we could be doing. There's different event and different programming that we can do for our certified businesses to really help them leverage that. So, and I wanted to start off by talking a little bit about the state of New Jersey. So currently there's 3 cities in the state of New Jersey that take your LGBT certification for city contracts, which is Newark, Jersey City, and Hoboken, which is amazing. And, those are things that, are limitless opportunities. So we want to figure out ways to help you guys leverage those relationships. And, if you think about it, a city agency purchases so many different things. Just because, you think your industry might not fit their purchasing structure, it could. If you think about it, they hire management consultants at the city. They hire, they buy toilet paper, they buy food, they buy office products. So there's so many different things that they do, that we want to make sure you guys can leverage. And currently we're working on the state of New Jersey. So I think, in the, it was tabled in the Christie administration. It was a bill. It made it to the desk and died at the beginning of the Murphy administration. The NGLCC is taking a different approach this time around. It doesn't have to be a bill that passes and is signed into law. It can just be an executive order that is signed and put in. So they're taking that approach and really working with the chief diversity officer for the state right now and lobbying on that way. And hopefully, our fingers are all crossed, we will see that this year, because that'll be another great opportunity to really build contracts for y'all. I was part of the lobbying with New York City to get the contracts put in. And when I tell you there's limitless opportunity there, the city of New York has put aside $25 billion in contracts from now until 2025 to go to MWBE, EBE, and LBE businesses. So as an LGBT certified business, you can fast track through the city's process into those programs. So that's the goal of what we're going to do in New Jersey, to continue doing the same thing, and really make sure that there's opportunity for contracts out there. So, the first question I really wanted to, and just do a round robin around the room. Feel free to jump in and talk. I want to keep it as conversational as possible. Have any of your businesses ever contracted with a city, state, or federal entity? And if so, what was your experience like?
So we have a contract with the University of Virginia. And right now it's just an MSA. And the reason that we chose to go that route is because now we can proactively go to anyone within that university group. And we already have the existing MSA. So any type of project in the future, it's easier for them to just write an SOW against it. Aside from that, though, we haven't gotten anything else. It seems to be more difficult to get into that realm of business unless you already have existing contracts.
Mm-hmm. We just pitched a job with Essex County, and I feel that the job is probably going to go to the same company that they've been using, but at least we got in there,
That's, that's a really important point that I'm glad you brought up. Sometimes just getting in the door is your first step in accessing and learning. It's a learning process. Pitching to a government entity can be a totally different experience than going to like a Fortune 500 company. And there's a little bit more noise around kind of the process. So, that's congratulations on that, because pitching to the county, I had a pitch to Bergen County for a contract, and I would say counties are probably harder than cities in the state for some reason. I can't figure out why.
They're very territorial. That's the feedback that we've gotten. So if you're not in their immediate area, they have like a really big problem with it, because typically the people that are bidding are people that they've worked with previously. So that's been a challenge.
Yeah.
And I see we have another member joining us. So Ron, if you want to take a minute and just introduce yourself to the group.
Hi guys, sorry, I just saw the notice that it was at noon. I'm Ron Cohen, and I own a video production company with my partner. Live in South Jersey, and we also have an office in Manayunk. So we do healthcare videos primarily, pharma stuff, and we help out a lot of different health organizations at this point getting messaging out.
Oh, very nice. You're in the right state for the pharma.
Yes,
Pharma.
How about it? Haven't seen as much pharma stuff, and it's interesting because we used to do a fair amount, and it moves on to use other people and stuff, but there's been interesting opportunities with some of the diversity stuff that the Chamber of Commerce, LGBTQ commerce, has done, like specifically with Merck. So we've tried to get some avenues that way, which is kind of one of the reasons I just wasn't sure what this think tank was all about, and I was curious to see what you guys are up to.
Well, thank you for joining us. And we're going to talk a little bit about all those things on how you can leverage and finding out who are partners you're really looking to get in contact. So thank you for joining.
Sure. Thanks for putting this stuff together.
Does anyone else have any other, experience dealing with a city, a county, a state, federal government on contracting opportunities? Yeah, it's, that's the general consensus normally when I talk to business owners. There's, a fear of how do I get in, then how long is it going to take them to pay me? So, that's something that is a really challenging piece to navigate. So if we were looking, if we want our share of government contracts. You know, I think the LGBT business owner is better than any business owner, and we want to make sure you guys get your share. What would be some things that we could do to help either get you as a business owner comfortable contracting with, you know, government, or better access to contracting with government?
So one area that I'm looking into now is, so I used to work for KPMG, and an area that they leverage a lot of diverse suppliers is through subcontracting. The gap that I have there is that you basically need to know the individual partner that's looking for that at the time. There's no centralized database. So I've been doing a lot of reaching out to professional services companies and literally making my way one partner by one partner. So maybe figuring out a way to kind of centralize that would be really helpful.
Yeah, you know, the tier 1, tier 2 supplier thing is such a great way to get in. And, you know, if I look at it, so, you know, I work for TD Bank, our tier 1 supplier is IBM for a lot of things. But when we write that contract with IBM, in that contract, we put performance metrics that they have to use X, Y, and Z subcontractors that are diverse suppliers. So, you know, that's definitely something that we could do, would be to leverage kind of a tier 1, tier 2 meetup. So, you know, maybe some of our corporate partners or government gives us information on some of their tier 1 suppliers. You know, do some matchmaker sessions where where our suppliers can go and meet with them.
Great.
Anyone else have anything that we could do to maybe help with that that meeting? Because I know it's hard. I had a customer who was an engineer in the city, a minority-owned engineer, and he won. He did one really good contract for the MTA and ended up winning both airport jobs. It put him in a point that it was like, oh my God, I don't know how to handle this now. But, you know, it is that one thing, you know, sometimes cities and states like to go with who they know. But, you know, that's why it's great to just get in there and get that initial presentation, because you're on their mind then to do that.
One other thing is just knowing that there's opportunities out there. So half the time, I don't even know if a product that I might offer might be up for bid. So if I knew where to look for these opportunities, or who the right people to talk to, or even be the product that they put up for bid, that definitely would be helpful.
Okay, so like maybe if we had some of these cities and state entities come in to do a webinar for y'all on doing business with them, kind of what their process is, how to get involved, where they list their jobs. It's a little different with the government entities because they actually have portals that you can go and find open jobs. Not the easiest thing. It's not like Google. It's not an easy process, but you know, they do have them there. And getting to know, here's the challenging part that I find in contracting is sometimes it's not knowing the person that, you know, the supplier diversity person. It's knowing the business line that's putting that contract out there and almost getting in with them too. So, you know, that might be a good thing that we could do is, you know, if we have, let's say, Jersey City come on doing, you know, and we have their purchasing manager that runs that contracting program there, but they also bring some of their department heads in, or whoever does the purchasing in their departments, just so that they can explain a little bit about what they do. I do that at TD, so I'll have my head of supplier diversity come to talk about, you know, the process of doing business with us, but she's not the final decision maker in the end. So we'll pull in different lines of business so that they can go through, you know, in learning and development, these are the types of contracts that come up with us. You know, these are the things that we look for. This is how you can get listed on our supplier list. So, you know, that's a good idea, and thank you for bringing that up with that one up.
Steve, this is Joe. I'd like to just say, as someone who is brought into city and government contractor or city and government accounts, municipalities, what I have noticed is what I think is a really good thing to understand is their decision-making process and all the various groups within a government that has to kind of agree upon or sign off. It's really a committee by committee thing. I'm working with a city right now in New Jersey, and the person I'm talking to and working with, me and my business partner, is the Chief Innovation Officer. And it's about turning this particular city into a smart city. I'm in the telecommunications business. And the proposal that this person has to make has to go to the mayor, has to go to the city council, has to go to the development corporation established by the town, and has to go to some other body. So I think understanding how municipalities come to their decisions is something interesting that really has to be understood. It might be different by each one. I don't know. I've seen slight differences, but it is kind of like that, where different organizations have a say on everything from budgeting to what they feel the community needs when you're dealing with government accounts. Also, to what I've come to learn is that there's a threshold for this particular municipality that I'm dealing with right now. Their threshold is $17,000. Once they an invoice or a project gets to that amount, or if I want to invoice someone for that amount, if it goes to 17,000, it has to go out to bid. Below 17,000, it's just an individual decision maker gets to say yes or no to it. So that's another thing to understand, I guess, municipality by municipality, county by county, what have you. But there are all these little caveats that would be interesting to, I think, to learn about, of how each individual county, let's say, does something, or each individual town. But that's what I've come across over the past few years in dealing with government accounts.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And, I think one of the first things that we could do on the government side is to really sit down and learn about, we have 3 cities. Newark has a big spend, Jersey City has a big spend, and Hoboken has a big spend. So how can we get some success stories? I feel like if we can get one of you all to have a really great success story on contracting with one of those cities, it's going to give the rest of our our certified businesses the confidence to go and say, hey, I can do that too. So, and I think that storytelling is really important in the contracting space, because you all are such a great resource for each other on the tips and tricks of getting into cities and states. So, I think that will be one of the things that we do next, is getting those cities involved to try to, so they can see your faces. If we pull them on a webinar, they're going to see you, they're going to be able to talk to you, they're going to be able to hear from you. So it makes a big difference. Any other thoughts on city contracting? Because if not, we'll move on to our next topic.
Stephen, I just have one more question, and I'm going to apologize because I think dogs barking in the background is going to happen. There they are. Do the cities ever have matchmaking opportunities that we can sign up for, or with those individual departments that sometimes you come in 10-15 minutes, you sit down or virtually do your communication and then move on to the next one? Do you know if they offer anything of that nature, or if we could set something up for that to happen, we meaning the chamber? Thank you.
I would say on a state level, they do it. They do more of like a fair, but they haven't, since COVID, I haven't seen them do a lot of that. But we definitely can do a matchmaker session with them. I love matchmakers. I don't know if any of you have participated in matchmakers before, but I think it's the best way, because you're giving them that pitch and those tidbits about you. So that's definitely a good idea, and it's definitely something we can work on. I think that, and I've seen it more on, like if you look at the size of the city, that's where it gets tricky. So some of the smaller cities, you're not going to see a big spend, but the ones we're talking about here, have a large population and a large spend. So, this is definitely something beneficial for them. And one of the best things about doing business with an LGBT business is that you're normally getting an intersection of different certifications from doing business with an LGBT business. So cities and states are very interested in that.
Yeah, WeBank does a lot of, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I said WeBank does a lot of the matchmaker sessions, and those really become a great resource. So that would be great if you guys could get involved in that.
Have any of you ever participated in the NGLCC matchmaker sessions?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because those
when I went
definitely-
to the conference, the national conference, I always make sure that I signed up for the matchmaker things.
yeah, those
Yeah,
are
the
great.
national conference was awesome.
Mhm.
I was so upset we weren't in Vegas last year. And I don't think it's happening again this year. I think it's going to be a virtual one. But, that's another piece that we can share. So, we're going to get resources for just us in New Jersey, but then we're also going to leverage some of those resources and some of those corporate partners down in national because we've got lots of them. So that helps us do that. But, the next thing I wanted to talk about was, these Fortune 500 companies and these corporate partners. So have any of you ever had a contracting opportunity with a Fortune 500 company? And if so, what were some of the aha moments you had from getting that contract? Because I feel like every time you get a contract, there's something different you learn, nuances on them, because they can be tricky at times.
This is Kathy. I can share what our experience has been with Fortune 500s, again, within the life sciences area. They are always asking to make sure that your pricing is fair market value. So understanding what your competitors are going to charge, high end, low end, is really going to be incredibly important. They are always open to a commitment of 2 to 3 year contract at that pricing. So being realistic with that. And it's truly about relationship. I found it's not so much about staying in front of their face, especially as a supplier diversity person's face. But when you have a certification, and many of you all sound like you have multiple certifications, that seems to be a really huge resonating point with them. So making sure that when you're communicating with them and the documents, whatever the documents are that you use, it's one of your first things that they see. It took me a long time to be comfortable with that because I thought it was boasting. But the bottom line is I am pretty freaking proud to be who I am and what I've accomplished. So I think it's really important that they understand that continuity, and recognizing too that in a way it's kind of depersonalized because we are a check mark within the Fortune 500 supplier diversity arenas. It's important to not get our feelings terribly hurt because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing by reaching out and incorporating us with that. And also don't be afraid if you aren't going to be able to go in as a tier 1, do not be afraid to ask them who their tier 1s are and how you can connect with them. The worst thing that they'll say is get the hell out of here. Pardon my bluntness, but it's the worst they'll say. So it's been a positive experience. It's been with us with the business. My business has been going for 12 years and we've had Fortune 500s for the duration, and it is truly relationship built, but boasting our certifications at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's such an important point that you bring up. It's, companies want to do business because of who you are. That's why they want to do business with you. And they have checks and balances that they have to follow to stay, to get that perfect score on the equality index. It's really important. So, make sure that, if you have a capability statement, best part about being LGBT certified, take that logo, throw it on your certification, throw it on your capability statement. Is it in your email signature? Is it on your website? All those are really good ways to brand yourself. I look at, we have an LGBT-owned business out of New York that was the first one to brand his product with the NGLCC logo as an LGBT certified. And he got into a hotel chain because they saw that on his product and wasn't looking for it. And it happened because of that. And they have a great commitment to supplier diversity. So, definitely leverage all those little images because they do help.
Yeah, I'll throw in my experience. I was at a ISM meeting, New Jersey ISM meeting, it's the Institute of Supply Management, and ran into someone there maybe 2 or 3 years before I left the business. Someone I had seen several times before, but where she was working at the time, she was getting ready to leave. And she said to me, I got to get you in before I leave. And she did. And they ended up being a valuable client towards the end of my business day. So, and it was all because we had seen her at NGLCCs and WeBanks, and it was all about the relationship and making sure I said hello to her anytime I saw her at an event, and whatever event it was. So it's definitely networking and relationships.
That's great. And when we find out what types of organizations you need to do business with, it helps us as we go and solicit corporate partners. So if we know that, pharma was an industry, how can we go and leverage our pharma companies in New Jersey to be corporate partners of the chamber, and then help us by connecting with our suppliers? So, as you guys are thinking about different, companies that you'd like to do business with, don't hesitate to send them over to us, because it's definitely a starting ground for us to start, soliciting for corporate partners. Especially in New Jersey, we are home to so many different organizations and companies. We can definitely have a good pool of corporate partners that, can definitely meet the needs. You think of all the pharma we have, and the state just keeps on growing on organizations. Think about, like Newark Airport, all those businesses that are there, and the airlines are corporate partners of the NGLCC. We can, leverage that piece to get them here to help with contracting. Anyone else have an experience with a Fortune 500 company as a tier 1 or a tier 2 supplier? I'd love to hear a good tier 2 story.
I'll just share mine again. One of the things that we found has worked well for us is to make sure that we bring other diverse, we call them strategic partners, not vendors, not, I don't like to look at anybody as anything other than what they are, which is a strategic partner, bringing them to the table. And again, making sure that in the communication to the Fortune 500 companies, they're recognizing that we are supporting within our own community. And making sure that they see that connection, as well as, and I think this is truly critical, and it's not been a positive experience all the time. If I bring someone in as a strategic partner, and we have alignment of what we're able to do for that client, my goal, my vision is, if that client doesn't need me to do something with them on a project, but they need my strategic partners, release, let them go, and have that relationship and make them then enter their own, if that makes sense. It's like, not everything's got to funnel through us. The goal is to get people exposed and to get people thought of and considered as other options. We're not the end all to everything. My ego just ain't that big. But I think it's really critical that we be transparent, that we're working within our own community, and that we welcome that relationship to go direct to our clients as well. If we don't have anything to fear, we won't lose anything.
I think that is an absolutely amazing point. And the other piece that you brought up in there is that we keep things in our community. And I think that's another area that we can definitely leverage and help by doing more business with each other. I think that that's something that I will tell you from my experience with WeBank. The WeBank suppliers at the New York, New Jersey chapter do amazing business with each other. They really make sure that they contract with each other, big and small. If there's a business that's going to redo their website, they're finding a woman-owned supplier in WeBank to help with that. And I think that's something that, as a community and as an organization, we can do better at. And I'd love to, see how we can help you all do more business with each other. We have our networking events, and those are great starts at meeting people. But I think we can take it a little bit further to do that. And definitely, when I shop on Amazon for my business, the first thing I do is I check off the box that says LGBT-owned supplier, so that if I'm buying something for my business, if you have an Amazon business account, you can do that. And I go and I see if I'm ordering soap, I want to order it from that LGBT supplier. So just to keep building our community. And, I think those are little best practices that I don't think everyone knows about the ways that we can really help uplift each other and keep bringing things into our community by doing business with each other. So I know we're 10 minutes away from the end of the hour, and I wanted to just do a round robin. And if there's one thing that we could do for you all this year that would help with leveraging your certification, what would it be? And we can, whoever wants to start can kick us off.
Actually, I'd like to circle back to your earlier point about the Amazon business account. I'm ignorant about this. I think that I know you can like put out recommendations and so forth to your membership and say, okay, I like this book or I like this gadget or whatever, and get an affiliate commission. Is that affiliate commission only for a business Amazon account?
That I'm not sure of. I just know when I shop on it, I can check off. There's a whole list of all the certifications for suppliers, and you can check off, and it filters the suppliers who just have those certifications. Amazon, I will tell you, is one of the largest referrers to the NGLCC. When they get a new supplier added on as a seller, they refer them over to the NGL. If they're LGBT owned or WeBank or women owned, they send them over to those orgs to get certified. So, you know, it's a great thing. So we're increasing, but I don't know about the affiliate pay on Amazon.
Okay, so Stephen, do you purchase all your purchases on your business account, like soap and stuff, normal stuff?
Well, for my business, I do. And I use my business account for my personal purchases too. So if there's an LGBT supplier that, you know, does it, I go right ahead and do that. As long as you have an Amazon business account, you can go and sort by that way.
Thanks.
It's a really cool thing. You know, however we can help each other out, I think that's really important. And I know we have a lot of Amazon suppliers. Okay, so one thing that we can do for you this year to help leverage your certification. Who wants to kick us off?
I can kick us off if you'd like. I think we would like to be connected with like mid-range corporations, mid-range prime contacts, not like the PNC Bank, but maybe like the tomato sauce or a New Jersey based, you know, $20 million company. We're not going to be hired by the behemoths, but we are definitely attractive to the mid-range companies. And I would love to get meetings, you know, I mean, I would love to have face-to-face. That kind of stuff would be great.
You know, that's a really great thing though, as we look at bringing on corporate partners, we can look towards, you know, that range of revenue producing businesses to come on as corporate partners.
Yeah, I used to target that as well, because what I used to say is they have the budget, but they don't have the bureaucracy.
Yeah. That is right. They're quicker at paying than a $100 billion company.
I'm going to echo Amy and Lori, because that would really be, it's really wonderful to work with the Fortune 500s, but it would really be nice to come into the smaller, whether it be life sciences or even industries that support life science, manufacturing, distribution, personnel. Every company needs that support infrastructure. So we would definitely be open to introductions to that smaller, more nimble audience, if you will.
Is anyone big into the healthcare space? If we could make some healthcare connections, would that be helpful?
When you say healthcare, what arena within healthcare are you thinking about?
Like the hospital networks, like Hackensack Meridian, Robert Wood Johnson.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm working on a project with Hackensack right now, so that's why I've been laying the groundwork for, you know, there's a great opportunity for you to connect with diverse suppliers. So perfect.
Just remember, everybody needs video.
But it's interesting.
I think sometimes we don't realize that, you know, we're like, oh, it's a city, they don't use that. Everyone uses that. You know, you never know what a product is going to be. I've used running as a doggy daycare, I've used some of the strangest suppliers that people wouldn't think I would be using, but it's part of the business. I need all of those pieces of it, not just, what you're doing as your brand.
It's, Amy, one of the areas that we've seen a significant amount of increase within the local healthcare arenas, like the hospitals, are patient advocacy type of videos, because a lot of patients are not able to be mobile. So the patient administration, if you will, within the hospitals are, that's been a very big growing area. So that would be a huge, I think would be a huge access point. Plus, if there are any nonprofit healthcare, so it's not even just the hospitals, but any advocacy groups within, the tri-state or whatnot, as another possibility. Because again, patient advocacy is not going to go away. And even though we are on the quote unquote downside of this pandemic situation, the patients are going to be the last ones to want to come out. And, so they're still wanting ways to access them.
That's great. Thank you.
Sure.
And I'd be interested in anybody in small companies as well, that obviously as an entrepreneur, and just at this point, it's my business solely, I would be eligible to come into a smallish company, woman-owned would be particularly good probably, and speak to any C-level exec, but personally, a lot of the women, I believe, are underserved. And so that would be a perfect opportunity for me to do coaching. And, I mean, who doesn't need coaching? So the 42 years of experience and my master's degree in retirement planning, I mean, I could be an asset to a company by just saying, how many hours do you think in a week your company is losing to your people wondering if they're going to run out of money? And that could tally up to my coaching fee. So yeah, any leads along that direction would be great.
Would you all be interested in some cross-certified events where we maybe partnered with WeBank or National Minority Supplier Development Council, Veterans Chamber, or Disability Inn on doing some joint events together?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
The executive director of WeBank for New York and New Jersey, Keisha, and NMSDC are very, very good friends of mine. I make them sit on panels for me all the time. So they would definitely love to meet more people that can partner with them.
Great.
And anyone else in our last 3 minutes have any other wish list items for us for this year? All right, well, if you do, my email is Steven, STEVEN, at the New Jersey LGBT-chamber.org. Send me over an email on anything related to supplier diversity. And I would love to, going forward, I think we're going to do these quarterly just so that we can get more and more of our LGBT certified businesses together to just think about where we've been, what your challenges were last quarter, and where we can come in and help. The things we talk about today could be totally different 3 months from now. The pandemic has changed the world on how we do things. So, we'd like to keep you guys in close contact so that we can really make sure we're providing everything we can for you. Well, thank you all. Joe, Stephen, Lori, any final words?
None from me. I'm just glad to see all you guys again. This was a great, I think, brainstorming session that I believe we're probably going to try to do a little bit more regularly, and hopefully we can get more of our certified businesses on the line as well to make it even a more productive conversation.
All right. Well,
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you
all
so much.
for
It was
Stay
great.
safe.
Good to meet you
We'll
all.
talk to you soon.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.